There are moments in sports that feel like a changing of the guard. Moments where an era ends and a new one begins, not with a violent overthrow, but with a quiet, relentless force that simply cannot be denied. For the past 3 decades, one name has stood above all others in the world of professional golf. Tiger Woods didn't just win tournaments. He shattered records, bent the sport to his will, and built a legacy so immense that it seemed untouchable. His career earnings of $120 million felt less like a number and more like a permanent monument, a line in the sand that no one would ever cross. But in the summer of 2026, on a sweltering Sunday in Memphis, a new story began to be written. A story that asks a question that, just a few years ago, would have seemed impossible. What if the monument is about to fall? Scottie Scheffler, the world's #1, has spent the last several years building a career that defies belief. He has won majors, an Olympic gold medal, and consistently demolished the best fields in the world. He has done it with a quiet intensity and a relentless consistency that has drawn comparisons to the very man he is now chasing. Yet, this chase is different. This isn't just about trophies. It's about a number that represents an entire career of dominance. It's about the last frontier of Tiger's statistical empire. As the final putt dropped at the FedEx St. Jude Championship, the golf world stood still. With a victory that earned him $3.6 million, Scheffler didn't just win another tournament. He moved past Rory McIlroy into second place on the all-time money list. He is now just $1,034,755 away from surpassing Tiger Woods. It is a number so small, so seemingly insignificant in the context of a multi-million-dollar season, that it creates a sense of inevitability, a sense of destiny. But this isn't a story about money, not really. This is a story about the end of an era. This is a story about what it takes to dethrone a king. This is the explosive race to make history. To understand the magnitude of what is about to happen, you have to understand the context. The PGA Tour's official career earnings list isn't just a ranking of who has made the most money. It is a historical document, a reflection of the changing landscape of the sport. It is a ledger of greatness, measured in dollars and cents, that tells the story of who dominated which era. For over 20 years, the top of that list has been occupied by one man. Tiger Woods' career earnings of $120,999,166 stood as a testament to his unprecedented dominance. It was a number that seemed to be a permanent fixture, a record that would stand for generations, much like his 14 major championships or his record 82 PGA Tour wins. It wasn't just a number. It was the numerical representation of a legacy that changed the game. But as the 2026 season unfolded, a new narrative began to take shape. Scottie Scheffler, the world's #1, has been on a tear that the sport hasn't seen since Tiger was in his prime. He has won majors. He has won the Players' Championship. He has won an Olympic gold medal. And he has done it all with a kind of robotic efficiency that leaves his competitors in the dust. His victory at the FedEx St. Jude Championship was not just another win, though winning is something he does with alarming frequency. It was his 21st career victory on the PGA Tour, a staggering number for a player who just turned 30. But the real headline wasn't the trophy. It was the $3.6 million winner's check. That single victory pushed his official career earnings to $119,964,411. It was a seismic shift in the power structure of golf, because it pushed him past Rory McIlroy and into sole possession of second place. For years, McIlroy has been viewed as the heir apparent, the player most likely to carry the torch from Tiger. And yet, now he sits third, looking up at a player who has only been a full-time professional for a fraction of the time. It's a stark reminder that Scheffler isn't just winning. He is lapping the field. He is accumulating wealth at a rate that has never been seen before in the sport, winning more than double the tournaments of any of his closest rivals in the last 3 seasons. The number that truly matters, the one that sends a jolt through the golf world, is the gap. $1,034,755. It's a number so small that it almost seems comical in the world of professional golf, where tournament purses routinely exceed $20 million. Think about what that number means. It means that at the very next tournament, the BMW Championship, with its massive $20 million purse, Scheffler could accomplish what no one thought possible. He doesn't even need to win. The math is simple, and it is devastating. A ninth-place finish or better could be enough to finally topple the man whose shadow has loomed over the sport for a generation. It's the kind of number that feels like destiny, a decimal point on a ledger that is about to be rewritten. It is the final frontier, the last statistical bastion of Tiger Woods' untouchable legacy, and Scottie Scheffler is standing on its doorstep, ready to knock it down. The race is no longer a matter of if, but simply when. And when might be just a few days away. To truly understand the weight of what Scottie Scheffler is about to accomplish, you have to look at the numbers that hide beneath the surface. This isn't just a story about a young player catching an aging legend in a single statistical category. This is a story about efficiency, about dominance, and about the changing economics of a sport that Tiger Woods himself helped transform into a billion-dollar industry. The gap between Scheffler and Woods, a mere $1,034,755, is staggering not because of its size, but because of the context in which it was accumulated. Scheffler is on the verge of surpassing Tiger Woods' career earnings despite having played in nearly 200 fewer events than the 15-time major champion. That's right. Woods has made 378 starts on the PGA Tour over a career spanning nearly 3 decades. Scottie Scheffler, at just 30 years old, has made only 168. Think about the math behind that. Tiger Woods has earned roughly $332,000 per start over the course of his career, a staggering number by any measure, a testament to his consistency and longevity. But Scheffler has earned over $700,000 per start. The disparity is a direct reflection of the modern era. Woods was the catalyst for the massive escalation in purses. His arrival in the late 90s brought with it a new television contract, new sponsors, and a new global audience. The money grew exponentially because of him. Now, Scottie Scheffler is reaping the benefits of that growth. But that doesn't diminish the achievement. If anything, it adds another layer to the legend. He is breaking a financial record that belongs to the man who made the financial explosion possible, and he is doing it with a kind of ruthless efficiency that has only been seen once before. This efficiency is rooted in a staggering run of form that has few parallels in the history of the sport. Since February of 2022, a span of just over 4 years, Scheffler has amassed 21 PGA Tour victories. To put that in perspective, Rory McIlroy, who is widely considered the second-best player of his generation, has won 11 times in that same period. Scheffler has won double the amount of tournaments as his closest rival. It's a level of dominance that hasn't been seen since the prime of Tiger Woods himself. He is the third youngest player in PGA Tour history to reach 21 wins, a list that includes only Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods ahead of him. He is not just winning. He is rewriting the record books at a pace that makes the impossible seem inevitable. The 2026 season, in particular, has been a masterclass in consistency, if not always victory. After opening the year with a win at the American Express, Scheffler went through an uncharacteristic dry spell, posting 10 top 5 finishes, including 5 runner-ups. It was a season that would have been a career year for almost any other player, but for Scheffler, it was viewed as a frustrating anomaly. The golf world began to whisper, wondering if the relentless machine had finally hit a snag. But then came Memphis. He didn't just win at TPC Southwind, he dominated. His 8-shot victory was the largest winning margin in the 68-year history of the tournament. He shot a blistering 61 in the second round, effectively ending the competition before the weekend even began. And the statistics from this season paint a picture of a player who is operating on a level that even Tiger Woods never reached. Golf journalist Ryan Lavner of the Golf Channel recently highlighted a staggering fact. Scheffler is on pace to finish the 2026 season ranked inside the top 10 in all 4 major strokes gained statistical categories: off the tee, approach the green, around the green, and putting. In the entire history of strokes gained data, which dates back to 2003, no player has ever accomplished this. Not Tiger Woods in his legendary 2005, 2006, or 2007 seasons. Not prime Jordan Spieth or Rory McIlroy. In every great season, there was at least one statistical weakness. For Tiger, sometimes it was his driver. Sometimes it was his short game. But for Scottie Scheffler, in 2026, there are no weaknesses. He has become the most complete golfer the modern statistical era has ever seen. This is the background against which this historic chase is unfolding. This isn't a player who just got lucky with a few big checks. This is a player who has fundamentally mastered every aspect of the game. He is the defending champion at the BMW Championship, and with a $20 million purse on the line, the opportunity to make history is within his grasp at his very next event. The stage is set. The legend is in the crosshairs. And Scottie Scheffler is playing the best golf of his life. And so the stage moved to Bellerive Country Club in St. Louis, a course that Scottie Scheffler knew intimately. He was the defending champion here. A year ago, he had staged a dramatic comeback, chipping in for a birdie on the penultimate hole to seal a victory that became one of the highlights of his 2025 season. That win was his fifth of that campaign, making him the first golfer since Tiger Woods in 2006 and 2007 to win at least 5 times on tour in consecutive seasons. Now he was back, not just to defend his title, but to rewrite history itself. The script seemed almost too perfect. A ninth-place finish or better at the BMW Championship would be enough to secure the record. And with a field of just 50 players, no cut, and Scheffler playing the most complete golf of his career, the expectation was not just that he would win, but that he would dominate. He was the bookies' favorite, the man who had just won by 8 shots in Memphis, and the player who had already mathematically secured a staggering $23 million FedEx Cup bonus before even teeing off in St. Louis. The weight of history was on his shoulders, and he seemed to embrace it. But the game of golf has a way of humbling even the greatest players. At Bellerive, Scheffler was not the same unstoppable force he had been at TPC Southwind. The course, a challenging par 71, demanded precision and patience, and for the first time in weeks, the world number 1 looked human. In the third round, he carded a 74. The magic of Memphis seemed to have evaporated. His ball striking, usually his greatest weapon, was off. The putter that had been so reliable just days before now refused to cooperate. He was not in contention for the victory. The headlines that had been written before the tournament began, the coronation that seemed inevitable, were now in serious jeopardy. Instead of a triumphant march to the record, Scheffler found himself in a battle just to finish inside the top 9. He needed a steady, consistent final round to climb the leaderboard and achieve the result that would push him past Tiger Woods. The pressure was immense. Every shot was magnified. The clock was ticking, and the dream of surpassing the legend at his own event, the BMW Championship, was slipping away. The turning point had arrived, and it was not a triumphant charge up the leaderboard. It was a grind. It was a test of character. It was the moment that would define whether this chase would end in glory or in a bitter, agonizing delay. The suspense was palpable, and the golf world held its breath. The final round at Bellerive was not the coronation the golf world had anticipated. It was a fight. Scottie Scheffler, the man who had dismantled the field just a week earlier in Memphis, found himself grinding for every single shot. He started the day at even par for the tournament, tied for 31st place, a position that would not be enough to secure the record. The dream of surpassing Tiger Woods on the final green in St. Louis, with a trophy in his hands, was rapidly fading. He needed a low score, a miracle round, to climb into the top 9. He needed to find the magic that had deserted him. The pressure was immense, the weight of history resting on every putt. Scheffler, who had publicly and privately made it clear that he viewed Tiger's records as the ultimate measuring stick, had spoken about the chase in hushed tones. He admitted that overtaking Woods on the all-time money list was a goal, even if he felt uncomfortable acknowledging it. The pursuit was not about the money itself. It was about the validation, the proof that his relentless dominance was placing him in the pantheon of the sport's true immortals. To come this far and fail to cross the finish line at the BMW Championship would have been a bitter pill. It would have meant the coronation would be postponed, perhaps to the Tour Championship, where the stakes and the pressure would be even higher. And then, as he has done so many times before, Scheffler found another gear. The golf course at Bellerive, which had been a relentless test of patience, began to yield. He started the final round with a birdie, the first of many. The shots that had been just a fraction off during the previous 3 days began to find their mark. The putts, which had been frustratingly stubborn, began to drop with a satisfying rhythm. The crowd, sensing a historic charge, began to rally behind him. A 33-year-old golf fan named Derek, who had traveled from suburban St. Louis to witness the event, captured the mood perfectly. He told the media that he was on his feet for Scheffler's final round, cheering as if the world number one was his hometown favorite. Everyone in the gallery understood what they were witnessing. They were watching a legend try to close the gap on an even bigger legend. The statistics tell the story of the rescue mission. After a 74 on Saturday, a score that seemed to have derailed the entire chase, Scheffler fought back with a final round 69. It was a score that pulled him up the leaderboard into a tie for 33rd place. It wasn't the victory he had dreamed of. It wasn't even the top 9 finish that would have mathematically pushed him past Tiger Woods. But it was enough. The $1,034,755 gap, which had seemed so close at the start of the week, had been reduced. Not eliminated, but narrowed. The new gap is a mere $594,755. It is a number so small that it almost feels like a formality. The chase will continue. The record will not fall in St. Louis, not yet. But the inevitability of it has only grown. Scheffler's resilience, his ability to salvage a top finish from a week that could have been a disaster, is the mark of a true champion. He leaves Bellerive not with the title, but with something perhaps more powerful. He leaves with the certainty that the record is now his for the taking. The stage is set for the final act, the Tour Championship at East Lake, where the season's biggest prize and the sport's most hallowed financial record will both be on the line.